Hello everyone, I'm about to go over my top 5 must-have plugins for mixing vocals. So let's get straight into it. Very first thing that I wanted to throw in here is NECTAR Pro. Now NECTAR Pro or NEUTRON is a really great investment for a person to buy for mixing their vocals. The reason why I say these plugins are so beneficial is because they have every single thing that you could possibly need right here. You have saturation, reverb, harmonies, noise gate, EQ, dimensions, pretty much everything that you need for mixing vocals. And if you look over here, they even have pitch correction. Now I bought a bundle, so I was able to get NEUTRON 4 and NECTAR. I personally use NEUTRON 4 a little bit more than NECTAR. Only reason is because I have better versions of these plugins right here already. But the plugins are essentially the same. Really cool thing about using NEUTRON or NECTAR is on our EQ. So for the EQs right here, they have pretty unique EQs. They have this thing called dynamic EQ. So the reason why this specific type of EQ is so useful is because whenever this EQ detects a frequency, is going to adjust the gain depending on whatever adjustments that you make of that frequency, which means you're going to have an added layer of frequency control. I use dynamic EQ in almost every single mix that I have. It's a really useful thing to have. They also have this track and pitch mode to make sure you're getting a tonally balanced EQ as well. But yeah, in my opinion, this is a really great plugin to use for a person that really wants that bang for their buck. You're literally getting everything that you could possibly need for mixing vocals. Anyways, next super useful plugin to buy is a deesser. Now, if you don't know what a deesser is, it's pretty much a type of compressor that reduces sibilance frequencies in our voice. If you don't know what sibilance frequencies are, it's those S noises, those really like type noises that you hear in a mix. Now, if you have a vocal mix with a lot of sibilance, it can easily destroy the mix because that's all the audience is going to be hearing. Deesser is the way we get that problem taken under control. Now, buying a deesser is so beneficial because it saves you so much time as opposed to using a deesser with a multi-band compressor. Now, when it comes to using a deesser on your vocals, you have two options. You can either do it the free way, which involves using a multi-band compressor to consolidate your sibilance frequencies, then compress them down, in turn making that multi-band compressor a deesser. Or you can go out and just buy a deesser for 30 bucks. So here's the thing, the first way is going to be a bit harder for a beginner to get down pat, especially when it comes to the fact of saving money. If you don't know how to use a multi-band compressor really well, it's really going to be hard for you to use it as a deesser. And not only that, even if you do know how to use it really well, it just takes a lot of extra time throughout the mixing process. Once you buy a deesser, you could possibly be saving yourself like 15 minutes per mix session. And not only all of that, but this deesser plugin right here will reduce your sibilance frequencies a lot better than a multi-band compressor will, and it'll do it a lot easier as well. So just go ahead and invest into a deesser. Now, the third super useful plugin in my opinion is AUTOTUNE EFX. Reason being is because it's kind of similar to NECTAR and NEUTRON 4. Now, the reason why I think this specific plugin is so useful is because they have a bunch of different really good sounding effects in here that make your vocals stand out. Like, first off, pitch and breath. Now, I don't know what it is about it, but turning that pitch and throat and the breath part on, they both just sound so good on the mix. Using these things right here kind of just changes the texture and presence of your vocal, which is really nice. And by the way, there's not too many plugins that just have this out there. This is pretty much like exclusively an AUTOTUNE EFX type thing. But not only that, they have all these different things over here. Now, out of all these things, I don't really use too much of them except for the tube saturation and chorus. Now, I use chorus on a lot of my vocals in order to get them to sound thicker. So yeah, I say this VST is really great for significantly enhancing the quality of your vocal mix. Really great investment. The fourth must-have VST for vocals is SOOTHE 2. Now, SOOTHE 2 might just be one of the most useful plugins out there. So what SOOTHE 2 is a dynamic resonance suppressor, which means it's going to be detecting the resonance within each specific sound wave of your audio signal, and it's going to be suppressing that down. Kind of similar to like a compressor or a dynamic EQ in attenuate mode, but not necessarily. The end result after using this is a lot clearer of a sound from your vocals. And there's so many different ways you can implement SOOTHE 2 into your mix. You can use SOOTHE 2 to kind of clear up distorted, muddy vocal mixes. You can use SOOTHE 2 to actually duck the instrumental track behind your vocals so your vocals can sit in the mix a whole lot better. And you can also use SOOTHE 2 on your master track, which will give your master a lot more of a transparent sound. After implementing this plugin into my mixes, I noticed a significant change in the quality of them. That's why I think every single mix and master engineer should have one of these inside their digital audio workstation. Last super useful plugin I wanted to go over with you all is OZONE 11 for mastering. Just like how all iZotope products are, it comes with every single thing that you could possibly need into one VST for mastering. So the reason why I think buying OZONE 11 would be really nice is because all of these VSTs right here are very high quality and will make your master sound excellent if you're using it in the correct way. And in my personal opinion, I've noticed that when opposed to buying VSTs for mixing vocals, it's a bit harder to find VSTs that are really good for mastering tracks. And Ozone 11 has pretty much everything that you could possibly need. Like, you have a stereoizer, you have a nice multi-band compression with limiting, you have dynamic EQ, you have a regular EQ, you have an exciter, you have a maximizer, and then you have a vintage limiter. And not only that, you have all these other things too for mastering. But yeah, buying Ozone 11 would just be a really nice option for saving you a lot of time and frustration of wondering what plugins you should buy in order to get a good mix and master. But alright everyone, those are my top 5 plugins for mixing vocals. Now, if you're a beginner interested in learning how to mix your vocals with stock VSTs, make sure you hit the video in my description so I can give you a detailed step-by-step guide over every single component over the mix and master process to help you understand everything a whole lot easier and make your life a whole lot easier as well. After watching this video, I can guarantee you'll be a whole lot better of a mix engineer than before you came. So make sure you hit the video in my description so I can make you better. But I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe. I'll catch you all in the next one.